Hello everyone, this is Attorney Lin Wang. Welcome back to my channel. And today we have a special guest, Mr. Saul Waksman. Mr. Saul Waksman run a business called Edgewater Jewelry Group. And today he will share the business story of his business. Hi, Saul, would you please say hi to our subscribers over here?
Good morning. Hello.
Yeah, so would you like to introduce a little bit about your business of Edgewater and how you start the business? Thank you.
Sure. Edgewater Jewelry Group started in the 1996.
Oh,
Um, we have diversified in selling jewelry, um, both in gold jewelry and silver jewelry.
mm,
Our distribution is primarily is either in North America and the Caribbean, and I've been in the business since 1978, in the jewelry business. My family was in the business.
oh,
Uh,
okay.
Prior to that, I was an accountant. I was a CPA, and
Wow, okay.
I just went into the family business, into the jewelry manufacturing business. So I've been doing this, more than 40 years.
I believe it must be a very big transition from being a CPA to a jewelry business person, right? So how do you make it happen to make the transition?
Well, at the time, I was a young man,
Oh,
and the transition was not very difficult. I had graduated uh, the University of Miami. I had gone into accounting for a year, and
oh,
then my father, who was a manufacturer of jewelry here in Miami, had made the request for me to come on board. He had a good, successful business, and I thought, well, I would try it out, and I stayed in it all these years. Um, it's still very important. My accounting background has helped me um, greatly in running a company, and so the background has always helped. And but the transition when you're a young man and you don't
mm.
have all those responsibilities as you get older was not really that difficult.
Yeah, I guess like when you work in the area of accounting, you worked for a like CPA firm, oh, right? You worked for other people, right?
Yes, I worked for a
Yeah.
CPA firm for a few years before migrating into transitioning into the jewelry business. So
Yeah.
yeah, and it was a great profession. I still love numbers. It's a very natural um, part of my life is numbers. So it's just very very easy. And the jewelry business on the wholesale end, numbers are very important. So it works out.
Yeah. So, do you feel like the big difference between working for other people and working for yourself, like having your own business?
You know, I've really never worked, other than the first few years of my business life, never worked for anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I really feel at this point that I learned that, you hear the grass is always greener for other people, that people say, oh, you run your own business and you can come and go as you please. Well, it doesn't ever really work that way. When
Mm-hmm.
you run your own business, you're more, you have a lot more responsibilities than um, just going to work and receiving your paycheck every 2 weeks, and you don't really have to worry about
Yeah,
things.
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So I think there's positives and negatives for both sides. I think my personality is more where I'm an entrepreneur. I think it would be difficult for me to work for somebody. uh,
Mm,
so it just normally blossomed into um, working for myself.
yeah. So, would you please tell us, like, according to your opinion, what is the biggest challenge and what is the biggest reward to work for yourself instead of working for others?
Well, I would say as part of my personality, I'm a bit of a control freak. So
Okay, okay.
I
Yeah.
I think the convenience of being able to manage and control my own sort of destiny in my own business makes it easier for my personality.
Yeah.
Now, with that being said, also, you work for somebody. There's certain responsibilities you have towards the ownership of the company. You have a feeling that you have a. I mean, I'm a little bit old school, so there's a respect towards the management, towards the leadership, and so uh, that's the way it would work. But I just it just feel it's just more comfortable for me to be able to run my own business. As I've gotten older, I've been able to sort of let go a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I think a lot of people say, when you work for yourself, you can come and go. Well, it never works that way. In my younger years, I worked tirelessly, like a lot of self-employed people would say the same thing. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't so easy just to come and go as you please. And as I've gotten older, yes, I have let go of the reins. I have a little bit more liberty. For example, this meeting right now that we're having, I normally, in my younger years, I'd be at work by now. I
Yeah.
don't been at work for an hour. It's just the way things are when you're younger and you're starting to establish your business. So I think it's worked out for me this way.
Yeah. So you see, you have worked a long hours, like long time to make it happen that you can work for yourself. It is not a come and go thing. So how do you balance your work and life?
Good question.
Yeah.
Um, I think I've learned it later in my life.
Yeah.
When I was a young man, I think like a lot of young entrepreneurs or young people, we start a family, we have children, um, and in my case, I was always traveling. I was always doing all kinds of things, and I don't feel like the balance was there. But of course, I didn't have a choice. I was supporting a young family,
Yeah.
and it was a responsibility that I felt I needed to do.
Mm.
So as I've gotten older, I've learned to balance. Again, same reason we're talking right now is the fact that I've balanced my life a little bit. I'm able to do these things where I didn't feel like I had that ability many years ago. So I think I think the newer generation has learned a little bit better from ours that
Mm.
there has to be more of a balance. I see it in all my travels and all the people and all the companies I do business with. The younger generation is learning to balance it a little bit more, have a little bit more of a home life outside of work. But no, I think in my generation, the baby boomers,
Yeah.
we just knew how to work, and we worked and we made a living for our family, and that was the responsibility that we had, and we felt that we had. And bringing up our children um, took a secondary role. Not that it wasn't important, but it did take a secondary role. So uh, I have a much more of a balance nowadays.
That sounds good. So, like you have said, so like some young people, they are starting their business, like young entrepreneurs, they are facing some like figure out time to see like how they should like start. So, if we have the young people who are trying to start their own business or struggling with their own business even, do you have any suggestions or do you have some things like you want to share with them, please?
Um, from the aspect of the jewelry business, it's a very difficult business to get into. I think in nowadays, I think um, it's very capital intensive.
Yeah, yeah.
So you need to have the working capital to be able to purchase the jewelry. Nowadays, I purchase a lot of jewelry from countries like Turkey,
Mm-mm.
but predominantly also from China.
Yeah, yeah.
And the to deal with the Chinese factories, you need to have upfront working capital.
Mm.
You need to transfer funds and send it to the factory,
Yeah.
and so I would think for a young person to get into this jewelry business, it would probably be better suited if they migrated into an existing company. Like my company, I don't have any young people that have anybody I don't have anybody that might take over my company.
Yeah.
So I would say that if they could go into an existing business would be good. But as far as being outside the industry, I think there's so many opportunities for young people to do something on their own. But I still think it takes a certain amount of work ethics. I think I find it challenging. I have a staff of 7 or 8 people, and they're great employees. But when 5 o'clock comes around, they want to go home.
Yeah.
And I think that's very typical of the American. You don't see that, and I use the example of China. They leave when the work is
Done.
over.
Yeah.
There's a tremendous work ethic, and that exists in a lot of other countries. And they're more like what we were in the 70s and 80s. They work hard, and they don't necessarily have as much time for the family. I'm not making a judgment whether it's right or wrong, but I think for a young person to start a business, I think they need a certain amount of dedication.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what that means. I
Yeah.
can't. For everybody, it's a little different, but
Right.
it definitely, you cannot just work a 9 to 5 job. It just doesn't work.
That makes sense. Yeah. Thank you very much, Sal. That is really very informative and helpful for my subscribers. And
Yep.
also, we will put Edgewater's website in our description of this YouTube. So if you're interested in Sal's business or the beautiful jewelries, please check the description. Thank you very much, Sal. And
You're welcome.
for watching this video. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.